Okay, wow. You've given us a lot to unpack here. This interview with Raoul Pal is pretty intense. He doesn't hold back at all, does he? About investing in crypto, the future.
Yeah, you know what's so fascinating about Powell? He connects all these topics together, like the financial system, crypto, AI. It's not just about investments, right? It's like he's seeing this massive shift in society.
Yeah, and he says, like, it's happening so much faster
Yeah.
than people even realize. He paints this stark picture, of our whole financial system, calls it the everything code. Is that just like a catchy name, or is there something more to it?
Oh, there's definitely more to it. Powell's saying, okay, aging populations, more government spending leads to more debt, and then bam, inflation.
So, like, when we feel like our money just isn't going as far, that's not just in our heads. He's saying it's, like, built into the system.
Exactly. He even says this, debasement
Yeah.
of currency is happening like 11% a year. So yeah, our buying power is going down faster than most people think.
Man, that is a sobering thought. So if traditional investments are getting eroded, like the S&P 500, where does that leave us?
Well, that's where Powell brings in crypto. He thinks Bitcoin and Ethereum are, potential solutions. They're scarce and decentralized, so their value can actually outpace the debasement of traditional currencies.
But isn't crypto, like, super volatile? We see the headlines, Bitcoin crashing. How can that be a safe haven?
Powell acknowledges that, the volatility, but he's like, you got to zoom out, look at the long term. Over time, he thinks crypto is going to keep going up in value, especially as more people lose faith in traditional currencies.
It's wild that he went all in. 100% of his liquid net worth into crypto. That's a serious conviction. Do you think that's wise, or is it too risky?
I mean, it's a bold move for sure. Most advisors would say, no way, but it shows you how much he believes in it and how much he, doubts the current system long term.
So he's basically betting the current system. He's
Yeah.
going to, like, fail, and crypto will be the new thing. That's a big gamble, right?
It is a gamble, but he thinks it's worth it. He's saying the potential rewards of being early to crypto outweigh the risks.
But isn't it all just a bubble? Lots of people are skeptical. Some even say it's a Ponzi scheme. What does Powell say to that?
He says it's way more than just speculation. It's a huge technological innovation, something that could, revolutionize finance and more. He compares it to the early internet, when everyone thought it was just a fad.
So he's saying we're at the beginning of the crypto revolution.
Oh.
And anyone who, like, dismisses it now will be left behind, just like with the internet.
That's his argument. He thinks blockchain, the tech behind it, is just as transformative. It could create a financial system that's more transparent and secure.
And he says Bitcoin and Ethereum are leading the way. Why those two?
He says Bitcoin is like digital gold. It's the most established and, limited supply. Makes it inherently valuable. Ethereum, though, is more than just money. It's a platform for building applications. Decentralized apps, or DApp apps. He thinks those will, like, revolutionize everything, from finance to even gaming.
So, okay, Bitcoin's the store of value, like gold, and Ethereum's the platform, like the internet itself.
Yeah, good analogy. And Powell sees both as, like, essential to this whole digital economy that's emerging. He even calls Ethereum the world computer.
World computer. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. What does that even mean?
He's talking about Ethereum's ability to run these things called smart contracts, basically agreements written in code that can, execute themselves.
So it's not just sending money, it's automating all kinds of agreements and transactions.
Exactly. And because they're on the blockchain, they're transparent, can't be changed, and anyone can access them.
Okay, I see how this could be, like,
Yeah.
really revolutionary. But I gotta admit, I'm still a little lost on how it all works. What is blockchain, like, really? And how does it do all this?
So imagine a blockchain as like a digital ledger, this giant spreadsheet that records every single crypto transaction.
So instead of a bank keeping track, it's this ledger that anyone can see.
That's it. And it's spread across tons of computers, so no one entity can control or change it.
Ah, so that's the decentralized part. Taking power from banks and giving it to the people.
That's the idea. And that's what makes it so secure, so transparent. It's almost impossible to hack it.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here.
Yeah.
But how does this apply to Bitcoin?
When you send Bitcoin to someone, that transaction is broadcast to the whole network. And computers, called miners, they compete to verify it and add it to the blockchain.
And how do they verify it if there's no central authority?
Through math and cryptography. It's kind of technical, but the point is they have to agree it's legit before it's added to the blockchain.
So it's like a giant crowdsourced Verification system. Pretty clever.
It is, and that's what keeps the blockchain, like, accurate and unchanging. Once a transaction's in there, it's done.
Okay, so that's the security and transparency, but what about this limited supply? How does that work?
Bitcoin's designed to have a cap. Only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. That built-in scarcity is what gives it value, like gold.
So it's like gold, but digital
Hmm.
and easy to transfer because of the blockchain.
Precisely. And that's why Powell thinks it's a good hedge against inflation. Governments can't just print more of it.
Makes sense. But how does he say people should actually invest in crypto? Do you, like, buy some Bitcoin?
He says keep it simple. Start with Bitcoin. It's the most established. Once you're comfortable, then maybe. Explore other options like Ethereum.
Okay, but what about all those other coins I hear about? Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, all the meme coins. Are those worth anything?
Powell says investing in those is like gambling. You might get lucky, but the odds aren't good. He says stick to the quality assets, Bitcoin and Ethereum.
So stick to the blue chips, huh? No meme coins for me then. What about this leverage thing? Should I be messing with that?
Powell says no way, especially for beginners. Leverage is basically borrowing money to get bigger returns, but it's risky, especially in a market like crypto.
Got it. Avoid leverage, stick to blue chips. Anything else Pal recommends for navigating crypto?
He says, yeah, do your own research. Don't just follow the hype, Understand the tech, the risks, the rewards before you put any money in them.
So, like, don't invest in what you don't understand.
Exactly. And remember, crypto is still kind of new, always changing. So stay informed, be ready for ups and downs.
Okay, so that's good advice for anyone thinking about getting into crypto. But Pal also talks a lot about AI. He thinks it's maybe even more transformative than crypto. How does he see those two working together?
He thinks they actually complement each other. AI and crypto, they'll converge and like reshape the world. AI is the innovation engine, and crypto is the infrastructure for a new decentralized economy.
So it's not just AI taking jobs and crypto replacing banks. It's bigger than that, right?
Yeah, he's suggesting a whole paradigm shift where AI and crypto empower people and create new kinds of value.
Okay, but how would that look? Can you give me some, like, real-world examples?
Think about healthcare, education, entertainment. AI could personalize those like crazy. And crypto provides the secure platform to access those services.
So, like my medical records are on the blockchain, safe and secure. And AI can analyze that data to give me personalized healthcare.
Exactly. Or like a decentralized education system. Learn from the best teachers anywhere. Pay with crypto.
Oh, man, that sounds straight out of sci-fi.
Yeah.
But also kind of amazing, right? The potential to, like, improve our lives.
That's what Pal is saying. AI and crypto could solve huge problems. Poverty, inequality, even climate change, disease.
But he also says there are risks, right? It's not all going to be perfect.
Of course not. He knows AI could be used for bad stuff, or crypto for, like, illegal things.
So how do we prevent that? Make sure these technologies are used for good.
Education, awareness, he says. The more people understand, the better decisions they can make.
So it's not just on the tech people. Everyone needs to be part of this.
Totally. These technologies will affect everyone, so we all need a say in how they're developed.
That's a powerful point. We all need to be more informed, more engaged.
Exactly. And Pal says, it's not just the tech. It's about our values. What kind of world do we want?
Yeah, big questions. And it sounds like he's saying the answers don't just come from, Silicon Valley.
Right. We need a much broader conversation. Philosophers, ethicists, artists, everyone.
So it's not just the how, it's the why.
Precisely. He says that's where the real work is. Building the tech with a purpose, with a vision for a better future.
Okay, I'm starting to see, like, the scope of what Pal's talking about. It's not just disruption, it's like reimagining society.
That's the core of his message. We're at a crossroads, he says. A chance to shape a better future, more equitable, sustainable, fulfilling.
But with all this talk about, tech and changing the world, he still emphasizes quality of life, right?
Yeah, that's key. He says all this innovation, it's about improving the human experience. The best trade is quality of life.
But how do we define that, quality of life, when everything's changing so fast?
Powell says it's about finding meaning, connecting with others, experiencing joy. Figure out what makes you feel alive, and prioritize that, even with all the chaos.
So find your North Star, what guides you.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. He says that's where true wealth is. Not stuff, but experiences and relationships.
So amidst all the crypto and AI, he's also saying slow down, connect, live a life that, like, reflects your values.
Exactly. Tech should serve us, not the other way around. The goal is a world where everyone can, live a meaningful life.
That's a beautiful vision. But how do we get there? What can we do, individually and together?
Pal has a few suggestions. First, educate yourself about these technologies. The more we understand, the better choices we make.
So read, listen, learn, become. Crypto and AI nerds.
Exactly. And don't just read, experiment. Try using crypto. Explore those dApps. The more you use them, the more you understand.
Okay, so educate and get hands-on. What else?
Support companies that are, using these technologies for good. Lots of startups and nonprofits doing great work.
So do some research, find the good guys, support them with money or time.
That's right. And lastly, have conversations. Talk to people about blockchain, crypto, AI, share what you know, address their concerns.
So have those tough conversations.
Yeah.
Help people understand the good and the bad.
Exactly. The more we talk, the better we can shape these technologies for the benefit of everyone.
Man, I'm feeling inspired, but also a little overwhelmed. Haha. This deep dive has given me a lot to think about.
Me too. It's a lot to take in.
We've covered so much, from crypto and AI to, the meaning of life.
It is a lot, but hopefully you have a better understanding now of what's shaping our future.
I do. But before we wrap up, what do you think is the most important takeaway from all of this? What should listeners really be thinking about?
That's a great question. I think the biggest takeaway is we're in this time of crazy change, right? Technology is driving it all. And it can be scary, but it's also full of opportunity. Growth, innovation, progress. We just got to approach it with curiosity, courage, willingness to learn.
So embrace the change, not fear it.
Exactly. And remember, you can shape the future. Get involved, stay informed, help create a better world.
I love that. What really struck me is how Pal asks, optimistic about tech, but also realistic. He sees the potential, but also the risks.
Yeah. It's a tough balance. We all got to find that balance, as we figure out this new territory. Too much optimism is bad, but so is fear.
So it's like informed optimism.
Yeah.
Seeing the possibilities, but not. Ignoring the potential problems.
Yeah, exactly. And remembering that tech is just a tool. It can be used for good or bad. It's our choice.
And that choice, like Pal says, it's not just for the tech people, it's for everyone.
Absolutely. This isn't just about tech, it's about humanity. Who we are, what we believe in, what kind of world we want to leave behind.
Deep stuff. Brings us back to quality of life, right?
Yeah.
What does it even mean to live a good life in this world that's so shaped by tech?
That's the question, isn't it? I think it's about figuring out how to use tech to make us more human, not less.
So not rejecting tech, but using it wisely to create a world that's both advanced and still, fulfilling for us as people.
Exactly. Finding that harmony between the digital and the human.
Not easy, but what an opportunity we have. This is a time of, endless possibility. The future is unwritten, as they say.
That's what makes it so exciting, right? We have the chance to write that future, to build a world that, reflects our best selves.
I love that. It's so inspiring. It reminds me that even with all the uncertainty, we have the power to create a better future.
We do. And who knows, maybe along the way, you'll discover something amazing, something that changes your life, maybe even changes the world. That's the beauty of it all. Anything is possible.